He built his empire on secrets buried 6 feet deep. She came to care for a child who cried in his sleep. But when a routine DNA test shattered the walls between past and present, the most dangerous man in Seoul discovered the one truth that could destroy him, and the woman who'd sacrifice everything to protect it. In the shadow world of Korean organized crime, Jin-soo ruled with calculated precision, every decision measured, every emotion locked away, until the day he hired a nanny for his orphaned nephew, and felt his carefully constructed world begin to crack. She called herself Soo-ah, impeccable credentials, perfect references, gentle hands that knew exactly how to soothe a grieving child. But perfection in the criminal underworld is just another word for deception. And when a routine security measure revealed her DNA matched the boy she cared for, Jin-soo faced a truth more dangerous than any enemy. Some secrets are written in blood, some lies are acts of love, and some children have a way of bringing the dead back to life. This is the story of a Mafia king who hired a nanny for his nephew, only to discover she was the mother who'd been pronounced dead 5 years ago. A mother who'd chosen to burn her entire life to ashes, rather than let her son grow up in the shadow of his father's crimes. Hello everyone, I'm back with another Korean Mafia thriller that will leave you questioning everything about sacrifice, survival, and the lengths a mother will go to protect her child. Today's story explores what happens when buried truths claw their way back to the surface, when love collides with loyalty, and when the most dangerous thing in a criminal empire isn't a gun or a blade, it's a mother's heart. But before we dive into this labyrinth of secrets and sacrifice, please subscribe and help us reach our goal. Your support keeps these stories alive. Now let's enter a world where even the truth can be a weapon. The rain hammered Seoul's streets like bullets from heaven, each drop a percussion against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Baek Group's 40th floor office. Inside, Jin-soo sat behind a desk carved from a single piece of black oak, a gift from the Yakuza after he'd settled a territorial dispute with more diplomacy than bloodshed. At 34, he commanded South Korea's most feared criminal organization, with the kind of quiet brutality that made grown men forget how to breathe. His suit, tailored to perfection, couldn't quite hide the dragon tattoo that crawled up his neck, a reminder of the boy from Busan who'd killed his first man at 15 to protect his younger brother. But tonight he wasn't interviewing another soldier or settling another score. Tonight he was hiring a nanny. The woman who entered his office moved like smoke through shadows. Soo-ah, according to her immaculate resume, 28 years old, master's degree in child psychology from Yonsei University, 5 years of experience with Seoul's elite families, impeccable references from names he recognized, judges, politicians, the kind of people who could afford discretion. Everything about her was perfect, which in Jin-soo's world meant everything about her was suspicious. She didn't flinch when thunder cracked across the sky, didn't glance at the wall of security monitors showing every angle of his building, didn't even react to the subtle bulge of the gun his bodyguard carried. Instead, she sat with the kind of stillness that came from practice, not nature. "You're overqualified," he said without preamble, his voice carrying the weight of a man who'd learned that small talk was for people who couldn't afford silence. "My nephew is 5. He doesn't need a master's degree to color within the lines." "Your nephew lost both parents 2 weeks ago," she responded, meeting his gaze with unexpected steadiness. Her eyes were dark, endless, holding secrets of their own. 5-year-olds who've experienced that level of trauma don't just need someone to feed them and teach them colors. They need someone who understands that grief in children doesn't look like grief in adults. They need someone who can read the silence between screams. Something flickered in her eyes when she mentioned loss, a shadow of personal experience that professional distance couldn't quite hide. Jin-soo filed it away with the 1,000 other details that kept him alive in a world where missing the smallest tell could mean death. The boy Jin-ho had been screaming through the night since his parents died in what the police called a tragic accident. What Jin-soo knew was a precisely orchestrated hit by the Yamamoto clan, retaliation for a territory dispute that had cost them 3 lieutenants and a shipping route worth 50 million won a month. "The boy requires round-the-clock care," Jin-soo continued, studying her reaction. "You'd need to live on the estate. East Wing, private quarters connected to his room." A micro-expression crossed her face, not quite fear, not quite regret, something more complex. "That's comprehensive. I protect what's mine." The words came out harder than intended, carrying the weight of his failure. His brother's broken body, his sister-in-law's blood painting imported marble, The boy who'd hidden in a closet for 6 hours, too terrified to cry. The child has already lost everything. I won't have him losing sleep too. When would you need me to start? Tonight. This time she did pause. Her fingers, he noticed, had been perfectly still until now. But at the mention of tonight, her left thumb pressed against her ring finger, a self-soothing gesture, unconscious. I'd need to collect my things. My driver will take you. 1 suitcase. Anything else you need will be provided. She nodded, but something in her posture had shifted. The professional distance wavered for just a moment, revealing something raw underneath. Mr. Han, may I ask, what was the boy's mother's name? An odd question. Lee Mi-jung. Why? I like to know about the children's parents. It helps me understand what they've lost. That night Jin-soo watched from his study window as his driver brought her back. 1 suitcase as instructed. She emerged from the car and paused, looking up at the sprawling estate as if seeing a ghost, or becoming one. When she entered Jin-ho's playroom, the boy was where he always was, sitting in the corner surrounded by untouched toys, worth more than most people's cars. He'd been there for 3 hours staring at nothing, barely blinking. The child psychiatrist had said it was normal. The word had made Jin-soo want to put his fist through a wall. The moment Soo-ah entered, something extraordinary happened. Jin-ho's head turned. Not the slow, disconnected movement of the past 2 weeks, but a sharp, focused motion. His eyes, his father's eyes, Jin-soo noted with the usual pang, locked onto her with an intensity that belonged on older faces. She froze in the doorway. For a moment neither moved. Then Jin-ho stood. He hadn't stood for anyone since the funeral. Not for Jin-soo, not for the therapist, not for the parade of nannies who'd lasted less than a day each. He walked toward her with the careful steps of a child approaching something fragile and precious. When he reached her, he looked up with those 2 serious eyes, and said words that made Jin-soo's blood chill. I know you. You sang to me when I was inside. Before the lights. Before the cold. Soo-ah's professional mask cracked like ice under spring sun. She knelt slowly, bringing herself to Jin-ho's level, and Jin-soo saw her throat work as she swallowed. Hello, sweetheart. I'm going to take care of you now. You smell like my dreams, the boy said, reaching out to touch her face with 1 small hand. Like flowers in the dark. Through the security monitor, Jin-soo watched her eyes fill with tears she didn't let fall. She caught Jin-ho's hand gently, holding it like spun glass. What kind of flowers? White ones. The ones that bloom at night. Jin-ho's voice was certain, clear in a way it hadn't been since the murders. Mother said they were called moonflowers. Soo-ah finished softly. Datura, they only open when the sun goes away. The boy nodded solemnly. She said I was her moonflower, because I only moved at night when everyone was sleeping. Jin-soo's hand tightened on his whiskey glass. His sister-in-law had never mentioned moonflowers, had never grown them. The estate's gardens were meticulously maintained. Roses, orchids, practical beauty that photographed well for the legitimate business fronts. No night-blooming anything. Over the following weeks, Soo-ah transformed not just Jin-ho but the entire eastern wing of the house. The boy's screams faded first into whimpers, then into the normal sounds of a child learning to live again. She had a gift with him that transcended professional training. She knew exactly when he'd wake from nightmares, arriving at his bedside before his cries could fully form. She understood his unspoken needs, preparing his favorite foods before he asked, adjusting the curtains just right so the morning sun wouldn't hurt his sensitive eyes. It was the lullaby that first made Jin-soo truly suspicious. He heard it through the monitors one night, a haunting melody in Old Korean, words that spoke of moons and tides, and children who swam in starlight. Jin-soo had been thrashing in his sleep, caught in another nightmare, when Soo-ah began to sing. The boy stilled instantly, his small body relaxing as if the song was a key made specifically for his locks. That song, Jin-soo asked his mother the next day during her weekly visit. The one about swimming in starlight, where's it from? His mother, still formidable at 70, paused in her tea preparation. I've never heard such a song. Why? The new nanny sings it to Jin-soo. Ah. His mother's eyes sharpened, and it soothes him, like magic. Then perhaps, she said carefully, it's a song meant only for him. Some melodies are born between mothers and children. They don't exist anywhere else. But Jin-soo's mother was dead. Jin-soo had seen her body himself, had closed her eyes with his own hands. So where had this song, this perfect key to his nephew's heart, come from? Run a deeper background check. Jin-soo ordered Kang Min-ho 3 weeks after Soo-ah's arrival. They sat in his private office, the one without cameras, where the real business was discussed. I want to know everything: where she was born, what she ate for breakfast in middle school, every job, every friend, every time she sneezed in public. Min-ho, his most trusted lieutenant, and the closest thing to a friend Jin-soo allowed himself, raised an eyebrow. She's been good for the boy. He's speaking again, eating. Yesterday, I saw him smile. That's what worries me. Jin-soo poured them both whiskey. Macallan, aged 30 years, a taste he'd acquired along with power. No one is that perfect with a traumatized child, unless they have experience. Personal experience. You think she's lost a child? I think she's hiding something that could hurt us. He knocked back the whiskey, feeling it burn. In our world, hidden things have a way of exploding when you least expect them. Find out who Soo-ah really is. The investigation took 2 weeks. Min-ho worked with the thoroughness that had made him invaluable, turning over every stone, following every lead. During those weeks, Jin-soo found himself watching Soo-ah more closely. She was beautiful, he admitted privately, but it was a beauty that seemed deliberately muted. Her hair always pulled back severely, clothes well made but forgettable, no makeup beyond the basics. Like someone trying very hard not to be remembered, but it was her hands that fascinated him. When she thought no one was looking, they would trace patterns in the air, complex gestures that looked almost like sign language but weren't. Once he saw her stop mid-gesture, catching herself. "There's more," Min-ho continued. "I pulled her medical records from before the disappearance. 3 weeks before her death, Song Yeon-ji visited an OB-GYN. She was pregnant. Approximately 8 weeks. The mathematics of betrayal calculated themselves in Jin-soo's mind. His brother's sudden engagement to Lee Mi-jing 5 years ago. The rushed wedding. Jin-ho's birth 7 months later. Premature, everyone said. But the boy had been healthy, fully developed. Not premature at all. "She didn't die," Jin-soo said quietly. "She ran. My brother got a prosecutor pregnant. A prosecutor investigating us. So she disappeared, and he married Mi-jing to cover it up. But why come back now? Why risk exposure?" Jin-soo thought of Jin-ho's recognition. The lullaby. The boy who knew a woman who sang to him in the dark. Because her son was in danger. Because the Yamamoto clan killed the only parents he knew. Because he stopped, the full weight of realization settling. Because she's his mother, his real mother. And she came back for him. Min-ho shifted uncomfortably. "What do you want me to do?" "Nothing yet." Jin-soo's mind raced through possibilities, each more dangerous than the last. A prosecutor who'd faked her death. A mother who'd given up her child. A woman who'd walked back into the dragon's den knowing exactly what it might cost. Double the security on the estate. If she runs, I want to know. If anyone comes for her, I want them dead before they reach the gate. And the woman herself. Jin-soo thought of Jin-ho sleeping peacefully for the first time in weeks. Of small hands holding Soo-ah's face. Of moonflowers blooming in the dark. For now we watch. And we wait. And we let her think her secret is safe. The mandatory DNA test was scheduled for all household staff, a new security protocol implemented after a rival family had planted an assassin as a gardener. Jin-soo presented it as routine, necessary, just another layer of protection in a world where paranoia was a survival skill. He watched Soo-ah's face when he announced it at the staff meeting. For just a moment her mask slipped. Fear, raw and primal, flashed in her eyes before she locked it down. She nodded with the others, signed the consent forms with steady hands, but he saw the way her pulse jumped in her throat. "Is there a problem, Miss Min?" he asked, keeping his voice neutral. "No, sir. I understand the necessity." Her voice was calm, professional. But that night, the security cameras caught her in Jin-ho's room at 3 a.m., holding the sleeping boy like she might never get another chance. The test results would take 3 days. During those days, Jin-soo watched her wage a silent war with herself. She'd pause at exits, hand on door frames, clearly calculating escape routes. Once he caught her stuffing cash into her shoes, preparation for running. But then Jin-ho would call for her, or laugh at something she said, and she'd stop. Trapped by love, he understood the feeling. On the second night she approached him. He was in his study reviewing territory agreements with the Choi family when she knocked. She never came to his study. It was an unspoken boundary. "Come in." She entered like a woman walking to her execution. "Mr. Han, I need to speak with you." He set down his pen, giving her his full attention. In the lamplight she looked younger, vulnerable, nothing like the prosecutor who'd nearly destroyed them. "Speak, the DNA test." She paused, choosing words carefully. "What happens if someone's results are unexpected?" "That depends on what kind of unexpected." He kept his voice level, watching her hands. They were trembling slightly. "Are you trying to tell me something, Miss Min?" For a moment he thought she might confess. Her mouth opened, words clearly fighting to escape. Then Junho's voice called from upstairs. "Nanny, nanny, bad dream," and the moment shattered. "I should go to him," she said quickly. "Yes," Jin-soo agreed. "You should." She fled, and he listened to her footsteps on the stairs, the soft murmur of her voice as she soothed his nephew. His brother's son, or was he? The DNA results arrived early on the third day. Jin-soo read them alone in his office, morning light casting long shadows across the paper that confirmed what he already knew. Min Soo-ah, Song-yeon-ji, was Junho's biological mother. Probability 99.97%. He sat back, closing his eyes. Somewhere above him he could hear her preparing Junho for breakfast. The boy was laughing, something about pancakes shaped like bears. Such a normal sound in a house that had forgotten normal. The smart move would be to confront her immediately. The safe move would be to eliminate the threat. But Jin-soo found himself thinking of his brother, really thinking of him for the first time in years. Jin-woo had been different, softer. He'd wanted to be a teacher once, before the family business swallowed him whole. Before their father's death left Jin-soo scrambling to hold territory against wolves who smelled blood. His little brother had stepped up, learned to kill, learned to threaten, learned to be something he wasn't meant to be. All for family, all for survival. "I met someone," Jin-woo had told him 5 years ago. They'd been drinking on this very balcony, watching Seoul glitter below like broken glass. She's everything. Young, smart, fierce. She laughs at my stupid jokes." "What does she do?" Jin-soo had asked, already calculating threats. Jin-woo's pause had been too long. "Legal work, nothing that concerns us." A lie. Jin-soo had known it then but had been too overwhelmed with the brewing war with the Japanese to investigate. 3 months later, Jin-woo announced his engagement to Lee Mei-jung, a union that brought peace with her father's organization. A strategic marriage that had never quite reached Jin-woo's eyes. Now Jin-soo understood. His brother had fallen for a prosecutor, gotten her pregnant, and when the impossible choice came, love or family, someone had made Song-yeon-ji disappear. Whether she ran or Jin-woo sent her away, the result was the same. A mother separated from her child. A father marrying another to protect his son. A lie that might have held forever if the Yamamoto clan hadn't decided to send a message written in blood. His phone buzzed. The security chief. "Sir, Miss Min is attempting to leave with the boy. They're in the garage." Jin-soo moved without thinking, taking the private elevator to the underground parking. He found them by her modest Honda. Such a careful choice. Nothing too poor or too rich. Jin-hyo was clutching a stuffed rabbit, looking confused. Soo-ah was loading a single bag into the trunk with shaking hands. "Going somewhere?" She spun, stepping instinctively in front of Jin-hyo. Mother bear protecting her cub. Even now, even terrified, she was beautiful in her desperation. Jin-hyo wanted to see the ocean. Just for the day. At 6 a.m., with a packed bag, Jin-soo stepped closer, noting how she held her ground. The DNA results came in this morning. All color drained from her face, but she lifted her chin, meeting his gaze with the same courage that must have made her such a formidable prosecutor. "Then you know." "I know." He looked down at Jin-hyo, who was watching them with those 2 wise eyes. "The question is, what do we do about it? Please." The word broke from her like glass. "Please don't hurt him. Whatever you do to me, he's innocent. He doesn't know anything." "Hurt him?" Jin-soo felt something twist in his chest. "Miss Song, yes, I know your real name. I've spent 3 weeks watching you bring my nephew back to life. Do you really think I'd hurt either of you?" "Nanny?" Jin-hyo tugged on Soo-ah's coat. "Why are you sad? Did uncle make you sad?" She knelt, gathering him close. No, baby. I'm not sad. I'm just… She looked up at Jin-soo, tears finally spilling. I'm just very tired. Then we should go home, the boy said simply. You can sleep in my room. I'll protect you from bad dreams, like you protect me. Jin-soo watched this child, his nephew, this woman's son, his brother's greatest secret, offer comfort with the casual confidence of pure love. Something fundamental shifted in his chest. Tectonic plates of old pain grinding against new understanding. Jin-hyo, he said quietly. Go wait in my car, the big one with the games in the back. The boy looked between them, that unnerving big perception sharpening. Are you going to make Nanny go away? Everyone goes away. No. The word came out more forcefully than intended. No one's going anywhere, I promise. Jin-hyo studied him for a long moment, then nodded. He squeezed Soo-ah's hand once before walking to the Bentley, clutching his rabbit. Once he was inside, Jin-soo turned back to Soo-ah. Song Yeonji, this woman who'd given up everything. Tell me what happened. All of it. She wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly looking very young. I loved him. Your brother. I know how… That sounds a prosecutor falling for her target. But Jin-woo was… She paused, lost in memory. He was kind. In a world of monsters he was trying so hard to be human. You were investigating us. I was. And I was good at it. Too good. A bitter smile. I had everything I needed to bring down the Bach group. Then I met Jin-woo at a coffee shop. Pure chance, he said, though I wonder now if anything in your world is pure chance. He didn't know who I was. I didn't tell him. I should have walked away. But you didn't. No, I fell in love instead. For 3 months I lived 2 lives. Prosecutor by day, Jin-woo's secret girlfriend by night. I told myself I could balance it. Find a way to protect him when the arrests came. Stupid. She laughed. Hollow. Then I found out I was pregnant. The same week I discovered Jin-woo wasn't just part of the Bach group. He was a Han, your brother, the Dragon Prince. Jin-soo remembered that week 5 years ago. Jin-woo distracted. Distant. The sudden announcement of the engagement to Mi-jung. The pieces falling into place with brutal clarity. He found out who you were. His father did. Your father. Her voice went hard. He came to my apartment one night, showed me photos of my parents, my little sister at university, made it very clear what would happen if I didn't disappear. But I was pregnant with Jin-woo's child. I couldn't just vanish. So we made a deal. What kind of deal? Jin-soo asked, though he suspected he knew. I would die. Publicly. Completely. The investigation would die with me. In exchange, my child would be raised as Jin-woo's legitimate heir, protected, given everything I couldn't give him. Tears flowed freely now. Your father was very thorough. New identity for me, staged accident, even therapy to help me let go. But you couldn't let go, could you? She looked toward the Bentley where Jin-woo waited. Could you give up your child and just forget? I tried. God. I tried. I moved to Busan, built a new life, became someone else, but I followed every scrap of news about Jin-woo, watched from afar as my son grew. When the engagement was announced, when the wedding photos showed Mi-jung already glowing, I knew she'd raise him well. Jin-woo chose her because she had a good heart. She loved him, Jin-soo confirmed, like her own. I know, that made it easier. Until 3 months ago, her voice hardened. I was at a market in Busan when I saw the news. Hotel explosion. 3 dead. The footage, she shuddered. I saw Jin-woo's body, but they kept saying 2 adults and a child. Jin-ho wasn't with them. He was alive, alone, and I knew whoever killed them would come for him eventually. So you came back. I watched the estate for 2 weeks, saw him screaming in the windows, saw nanny after nanny leave, and I couldn't stay away anymore. My baby needed me. She met his gaze defiantly. I know what you are, what this family does, but he's my son, mine, and I'll die before I let anyone hurt him again. Jin-soo studied her. This woman who'd walked into the dragon's den for love, who'd given up her life, her identity, her child, only to risk everything to return when he needed her most. His father would have killed her without hesitation. Jin-woo had let her go but kept the child. And Jin-soo, what would the Dragon King do? The Yamamoto clan doesn't know Jin-ho exists, he said finally. The hit was meant for Jin-woo and his wife. Revenge for territory disputes. The boy was never supposed to be there. Last-minute change of plans saved his life. But if they learn about him, they'll finish what they started. Her voice was steady now, the prosecutor's steel showing through. Unless someone stops them first. Is that what you're suggesting? That I start a war to protect your son? Our son. She stepped forward, mother tiger fierce. He's Jin-woo's blood. Your blood, your nephew, regardless of who gave birth to him. And in your world, isn't blood everything? Jin-soo turned to look at the Bentley. Through the tinted windows, he could see Jin-ho playing with the built-in tablet, lost in some game. So innocent, so unaware of the storm swirling around him. My father was wrong to threaten you, he said quietly. Jin-woo was wrong to let you go. But perhaps they gave us an opportunity. What do you mean? You're legally dead. Song Yoon-ji doesn't exist. Min Soo-ah has no past that anyone can trace. To the world, you're just a nanny who's exceptionally good with a troubled child. He turned back to her. The question is, can you live with that? Can you be satisfied being his nanny when you're his mother? I've been living with it for 5 years. At least now I can see him, hold him, hear him laugh. Fresh tears. It's more than I ever thought I'd have. And if I offered you more? She went very still. What are you saying? I'm saying the Yamamoto clan took something from me, from us, my brother, his wife, the boy's parents, as far as the world knows. I'm saying that blood demands blood in our world, and that war is coming whether we want it or not. He paused, choosing his words carefully. I'm saying that when the dust settles, Jin-ho will need parents, real ones, not just an uncle who doesn't know how to love, and a nanny who can't admit who she is. You're suggesting? I'm suggesting nothing, yet. First we handle the threat, then. He thought of his brother, of chances lost and love sacrificed. Then we see what kind of family we can build from the ashes. A sound from the Bentley, Jin-ho knocking on the window, waving his rabbit at them. The simple gesture of a child who wanted attention, affection, the basic human connections that all the money and power in the world couldn't buy. He knows, Soo-ah whispered. Somehow, he knows who I am. Children always know. Then perhaps it's time to stop pretending. Jin-soo made his decision. Get in the car, both of you. We're going home, the estate. Where you'll continue being his nanny. Where I'll increase security tenfold. Where we'll prepare for what's coming. He met her gaze. Where you'll help me protect our family, all of it. She searched his face, looking for the trap, the deception. But Jin-soo had spent too many years wearing masks. For once he let her see the truth, the exhaustion, the grief, the desperate need to save something from the wreckage of their lives. And when it's over? She asked. When it's over, we'll tell Jin-soo the truth, that his mother loved him enough to die for him, and loved him enough to come back. The war with the Yamamoto clan ended as all wars in their world did, with blood and compromise. Jin-soo had been surgical in his retaliation, precise in his message. Those who had ordered the hit on his brother died. Their organization crumbled, new alliances formed. The Dragon King had shown both mercy and ruthlessness, cementing his power while protecting what mattered. Now in the garden where moonflowers bloomed, Soo-ah had planted them everywhere. Jin-soo watched his nephew chase butterflies. The boy laughed freely these days, the shadows in his eyes fading like bad dreams in morning light. Uncle Jin, Jin-soo called. Come see. The butterfly likes Ioma's flowers. Ioma, mother. The word had started slipping out 3 months ago. Soo-ah had tried to correct him at first, maintaining the fiction, but Jin-soo had stopped her. Let him call you what his heart knows, he'd said. She sat on a bench nearby, watching her son with open adoration. The severe hairstyles were gone, the muted clothes replaced with colors that caught the light. She looked like what she was, a mother who'd fought through hell to return to her child. The adoption papers are ready, Jin-soo said, sitting beside her. If you're certain, they'd decided to make it official. Not just the fiction of nanny and ward, but legal recognition. Jin-soo adopting Jin-soo as his son, with Soo-ah as co-guardian. A paper trail that would protect them all while honoring the truth. I'm certain, she smiled, and for the first time in 6 years it reached her eyes. Jin-woo would have wanted this. His son protected, his family whole, his family. Jin-soo tested the words, strange how natural they felt. Our family. She looked at him then, really looked at him. Somewhere in the months of shared fear and fought battles, something had shifted between them. Not love, not yet. That ghost belonged to Jin-woo. but understanding, respect, the foundation of something that might, given time and tenderness, grow into more. You're not what I expected, she said softly. When I knew who you were, what you were, I expected a monster. I am a monster. He watched Jin-soo cup the butterfly in gentle hands. But even monsters can learn to be human. With the right teachers. Uncle, look. Jin-soo ran to them, butterfly gone but joy remaining. Can we go see the ocean tomorrow? All of us. Jin-soo met Soo-ah's eyes over their son's head. Their son. The words still felt like a miracle. Yes, they said together. All of us. As the sun set over Seoul, painting the sky in shades of redemption, a crime lord, a prosecutor who'd returned from the dead, and a little boy who'd lost everything only to gain so much more, became what they'd all been searching for, a family. Some secrets are worth dying for, others are worth living for, and sometimes in the space between truth and lies, love finds a way to bloom like moonflowers in the darkness, unexpected, impossible, and absolutely real.